Hi everyone, and welcome to Storytime Art. My name is Tyler, and today we are going to look at one of my favorite artists. His name is Keith Haring. Keith Haring is well known for his very expressive drawings of people dancing and doing lots of fun stuff. He would often draw outside with a stick of chalk so that people everywhere could see his artwork, which I think is super cool. A nice way to show everyone all your cool drawings. So since we can't necessarily go outside and, paint a picture on the side of a wall, I thought perhaps we could draw a picture and then we can put it up on the window facing outwards so that people who are walking outside can see the nice drawings that you've done. So I've actually seen quite a few people in my neighborhood do that. They draw fun pictures, they do coloring book pages, and they write nice encouraging messages like we're all in this together, which I do believe we are. And I think it's really nice to walk by those houses and see those cool pictures and fun messages. So I would encourage you to do the same. So let's get into this. So I have a drawing here that I started working on that is kind of in the style of Keith Haring that I would like to sort of show you how we can do something like this. So I've got a couple different elements going on here. I've got this kind of robot character, I've got this sort of bunny character, and then I've got some lines and shapes and things going on around here. So we're going to start with kind of the characters, and then we're going to fill in the rest of the space with lots of other stuff. So I'm going to put this away for a second and start on a fresh paper. Now the things that you'll need for today is really simple. I've got some drawing materials here, some markers. These are all black markers. I'm going to start with solid black lines. You can do color later if you want. I've got some color markers here as well. But I like to start with the black and white lines, and then maybe if I want to I can add color later. I have a nice big sheet of paper here, and I always keep a piece of paper underneath because especially if I'm using a permanent marker or a felt tip marker, I want to make sure that there's something protecting the table underneath because it might bleed through the paper. So to begin, I am going to start with pencil. And I'm going to show you how to draw some of Keith's characters. He would often draw people kind of like this, and it would look like, he would draw all these lines in there to make it look like they were really dancing and moving. Now, even though there is no face, there's no smile or no eyes or nose or anything, especially in this one, because of the lines, you can still tell that this character is still quite happy. They're dancing around, they're moving around, and they're having a great time, even though there's no facial expression, which I think is pretty cool. I think that's a pretty neat thing to try and be able to achieve. So maybe we'll make that our challenge for today. So I'm going to start with a very simple kind of stick figure on this side, and I could start with like a straight line and the head and whatever, but I think I'm going to go a little more interesting than that and make it kind of grooving a little bit. So think about an action that you like to do, like maybe it's dancing or jumping or kicking a soccer ball or marching or something like that, and I'm going to try and do that here. So I'm going to draw, instead of a straight line like this, and let's see the legs kind of be up kicking like that. Maybe and these arms, I'm going to draw a little circle there at where the elbow would be, and then the head in there. Okay, so it's very, very simple to begin. I just drew it in pencil. I would recommend you draw it in pencil first, but for the camera there, that way you can see this is what it would look like. This is what my first drawing kind of looked like. Now what I'm going to do is draw an outline around my stick figure to give it a little bit more volume, or make it like not a stick figure. So I'm going to start down here at the foot, make that nice and big, and I'm going to draw sort of a straight continuous line all the way around my character, my dancing person, just like this. And I can decide here which way I want the hands to go, so maybe I'll go like this. Then I'll even make the head a wee bit larger, not too much. Now I think this elbow might be too far out, so I'm going to adjust right now while I'm doing it. Maybe this hand is kind of coming in like that. And I'm going to leave a little bit wider for the body because I don't know about you, but my body is a little bit wider than my arms. Come back down here. Now I've gone off the page a little bit. That is absolutely okay. In fact, it's really good because you're using up the whole paper. Keith would draw on walls, outside, so he got to draw really, really big. All right, so now I am going to start using my marker, and I'm going to do a nice, solid, thick line. I'm just kind of taking my time with this one because once I put these lines on, they're permanent. And one of the things that I really admire about Keith Haring especially is that he would just draw and draw and draw and draw. Even if he didn't like something that he ended up drawing, he would just sort of start somewhere else and start drawing again. He would just kind of keep going, which I really like. I think sometimes if I draw something that I really don't like, I sometimes get stuck and I just kind of quit or I stop drawing. Maybe I would have preferred to have a foot down there, but you know, I'm just gonna keep going with it. Okay, so there's my first character, and now what I can do is I can go in with the eraser and kind of erase all these pencil lines, get rid of all those. And now for my second one, I want to kind of draw the character in the space that I have left. So I've got this kind of space here. I kind of want to try and fit them together on my page, almost like puzzle pieces. So let's see, I'm going to have my second person kind of dancing a little bit lower. They're going to have one arm going up like this, the other arm kind of down like that. Maybe their kind of leg is like that, and their head is going to be right there. All right, so again, I'm going to draw my outline just like that. One sort of continuous line, and then I'm going to continue or go over that line with my permanent marker, which should leave me with something that looks a little bit like this. So this is sort of my good copy here that I worked on. Okay, so now I've got these two people looking like they're sort of jumping, they're running, maybe they're dancing, maybe they're listening to their favorite song or something like that. And I want to add a little bit more to make it really active. So Keith Haring had these things called action lines, which are just small little lines that make it look like your person is really dancing and moving. So I'm going to start on this one, and let's see, I'm going to start with the hands. So I'm just going to draw a couple little lines there, maybe around the elbow, the knees, the foot, kind of like that. There, maybe the head, because he's maybe bobbing his head a little bit. And then maybe there. So now just by adding a few simple lines into my drawing like that, now it really looks like my character is really, really moving, especially compared to this one. You can see it still looks like this one's moving, but not nearly as much as this one. So I'm going to do the same for this one now. And I just draw two lines with a nice thick marker. You can do it however many you want. You can do 3 or you can do 4. or you can do 1, up to you. I kind of feel that for me, the 2 has a nice feel to it. There we go. So now our characters are really, they're dancing around, they're getting their moves on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this, and you can see I've got lots of other elements and things going on here. I've got some triangles, I've got some other sort of made up shapes, and I'm going to add some of this stuff. I've got some words down here. I'm going to add some of this stuff to my drawing. Okay, so again, you can always start with pencil if you want. I'm gonna sort of try and freestyle this one a little bit, and I'm gonna look for the places that have the most sort of white space. So I've got this area up here. I've got this area down here, over here, and there. And what Keith would really do, oh, I got a little space there too, is he would make sure that he would fill up all the spaces. So if you want to, you can even add a whole nother character to this. Might not have enough room for that on mine, but you can go ahead and do that if you want. So in here, I'm going to put sort of a kind of a blob shape with a couple circles in it. Maybe I'll do another one of those there. Kind of looks like Lego pieces, I think. Okay, so I got a couple of those. Maybe I'll do a little tiny one in there. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get these things as close as I can as possible without actually crossing over the line. So I personally want to leave the inside of my characters just blank because I think that's really cool. I don't want to lose these characters, so I'm only going to draw things on the outside of them. I really like the robot person I had over there, so I think maybe I'll draw a robot guy sort of peeking down this way. Let's see, he's got kind of big thing like this. And let's draw his eyes kind of looking that way. Some little buttons there. Make these lines a little bit thicker. And what you can do if you like to add a little more detail is go in with a thinner marker. And I'm just going to sort of add a few more sort of thinner lines to the inside. Gives it a little more detail. All right, so let's see, I've got this sort of space I'm working with here. I'm not quite sure what to do, so maybe I'll do some connecting triangles. Often if I'm not sure what I want to draw, I will go for either the connecting triangles or maybe some connecting loops, which I'll show you in just a second. You can do big triangles, you can do small ones. I'm going to have my triangles kind of coming around my Lego blocks here. There we go. A few more here. And you can always, I'm kind of going quick, but you can always take your time on this and make sure you have, like, you know, I might go back and clean up some of this stuff a little bit more. Let's see, I think maybe I'll skip, I'm going to jump to this side here, and I'm going to do kind of a windy, curvy, kind of a snake. And you can draw like some patterns on your snake if you want. And then maybe I'll take my thin marker and I'll draw a thin line around my snake. extra. And maybe now I'll put this area, I'll do some little circles. Like that. Some big circles. Circles inside circles. Okay, maybe I'll do another snake kind of going off the page down there. Or maybe I'll do it coming up this way instead. Okay, so the nice thing is I'm kind of making this up as I'm going, which you can absolutely do. You can also, this is a really nice fun activity that you can do with other people. Like I could be drawing over here and one of my friends could be drawing up here. You know, maybe someone else I know could be on this corner and we could be filling this all up together. And what I'm going to do when I'm done this, I think, is I'm going to hang it up. I'm going to tape it to my window with the picture facing outside so that people can see my artwork. And I would encourage you to do the same. Okay, so give that a try. Fun little Keith Haring inspired dancing people.